The Fed standing pat on interest rates. Economic slowdown is fueling that decision. Remember, we just saw the first quarter GDP growing at the slowest rate in 3 years. Add in weak auto sales, even a surprise stall in the iPhone sales. Yesterday, we heard about that. And does all this help the administration make the case for its tax plan? Joining me now is former Reagan economic policy advisor Art Laffer. Art, great to see you. So,
David, wonderful to see you.
All of these indicators, and again, there's some positive signs, but there are a lot of signs that we're slowing up. I would think that what we need exactly now is a shot in the arm from a tax cut.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. The last thing we need is a prospective tax cut 2 years from now, so everyone's going to delay economic activity and postpone it, and then we'll really have a slowdown if you really want one. Yeah. That's the guaranteed way to do it.
And Art, we now have, I think you just saw the news, this budget deal passed. A lot of Republicans didn't like it, but it did pass. There are some tax cuts, and they're very significant tax cuts that could be added into the COB, the Congressional Budget Office's accounting of those tax cuts. So that also helps the notion of having a tax cut now, right?
I sure think so. I mean, it's the time for that, and especially that corporate tax cut. You know, there are so many people who don't understand anything about anything that think that dropping the highest rate from 35% to 15% will hurt the budget. It won't. It'll bring all those funds back from abroad. It'll get people to stop sheltering their income. You'll get all sorts of economic growth, and it'll really be positive for the U.S. But, boy, they just are bad-mouthing all over the place, especially people, you know, that we sort of like. I mean, the budget hawks, I like them. But, boy, they're bad on this.
Well, now there's also a question of timing. And, of course, they want the health care revision to come in first. That could happen as early as this weekend. We hope they come to some resolution. But here's what Mick Mulvaney, the OMB director, said about timing with Maria earlier today. Take a listen.
Yeah, tax reform is not going to be done next week. Nobody expects that. You know that. You don't do tax reform, comprehensive tax reform in an economy of this size in a couple of weeks. But we have started that discussion.
Do it in a couple of weeks. What is it going to be, months, years, what?
I hope not. I hope not. That's why I wanted them to do the corporate tax cut as a standalone, because I think the Democrats and the Republicans agree on that. I mean, the question is just how far down can you get that rate to go, and I think 15% is a good number. But once you get into personal stuff, David, it's going to take a lot longer, because the issue of redistribution is a big issue in personal, even though I think it's a bad issue. It's a major issue, but there's no one who would argue redistribution in the corporation tax cut. So therefore, a lot of the sort of the contrary flowing stuff doesn't occur when it comes to corporations. But it'll take a lot longer to do personal income tax rate reform.
I don't know if the economy's going to stand put until then. It looks like it is slowing down. We need a shot. Art, thank you very much.
We sure do, David. I mean, but we'll get that shot. Don't lose faith.
Okay.
Remember, life is a marathon. Remember that.
Always an optimist. Thank you, Art. Good to see you.
Thank you, sir.